here is the segment that we are calling, What Does Timothy Mosgov Make More Than?
We got to create a whole segment.
Take her away, Lou.
We're going to have to create some music. So you guys are
okay,
aware...
I'll tell you what. I'll hit you with music.
There we go. So you guys are aware there's this thing that is still limping along in popularity here in the United States called Major League Baseball, right? You're aware of this thing?
Yes,
limping.
Major League Baseball.
Limping along.
Right.
It's terrible.
So I was unaware. They don't just make hats. There's actually still the game of baseball is still played. No, I'm kidding.
Yes, it is.
So with the All-Star selection, with the All-Star ballots coming out yesterday, we have all the starters. Obviously, there's still the fan vote for the last guy on each team, for the last reserve on each team. Come on. You need to get George Springer in there. We need 3 Astros on the All-Star team. We're the hottest team in baseball right now.
Ian Kinsler, please.
Right there. So, took a look at a couple of things, and we're going to take a look at a couple of things regarding Mosgov's $16 million that he's going to earn this year versus the All-Star game. I'm going to name off I'm going to name off a couple of names for you, and I want you to tell me what these guys have in common. Salvador Perez, Eric Hosmer, Jose Altuve, Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts. What am I naming?
Bogarts?
Sorry.
You mean Bogarts?
I was reading on 2 different things. What do all of those guys have in common? They are the starting infield for the American League. Let's take all of their contracts this year and add them up and see how much it is. It's $14.2 million those guys are going to make.
The starting infield for the American League All-Star game makes less than Timothy Mozgov.
The top 5 American League ball players are going to make less money combined this year, and that includes Jose Altuve, who is the front-runner right now for the AL MVP, are going to combined make less money than him. In fact, the only starter...
Timothy Mozgov, who was, again, 75th out of 76 eligible graded centers in the NBA last season.
The only guy on the American League who is going to make less money, or who will make more money than Mozgov next year, is going to be Mike Trout, arguably one of the 4 best players in Major League Baseball right now. So
how much is his salary?
His salary is about $19 million a year.
I was gonna say he's got to be in the 20s.
Yeah, it's
which is almost a max contract in the NBA.
He's making $19 million. It's like $19.7 million a year. So he's walking away with about $19.7. Everyone else, including David Ortiz. Now, granted, in the American League, the argument you can make is, well, look at the youth explosion you've got. You've got a whole bunch of guys who are still on their first contract. Granted, you know, Jackie Bradley's going to get paid like crazy next year. Mookie Betts is going to get paid like crazy next year. We get that. Sure. But just take that into consideration. The entire outfield minus Mike Trout, and then the combined, and then the entire infield of the AL All-Star team will make less money than Timothy Mozgov.
So the infield plus the left and right fielders.
Well, once you add in Bradley, it gets over the hump.
Oh,
but here's
just barely.
Here's my point where I was going with that. I said this to someone earlier today, and they said, "Well, a lot of those guys are still on their rookie contracts." Okay, I get that. You know who's not a rookie? The LA Lakers are not rookies at this point, and you gave $16 million to Timothy Mozgov.
Yeah.
No! If we take a look at the NL, with the exception of a couple of guys, obviously Anthony Rizzo is making more money than that. Obviously Buster Posey, former MVP, is making more money than that. Yoenis Cespedes is making more money than that. But when you take a look at a couple of guys like Bryce Harper hasn't gotten stupid paid yet. Dexter Fowler, he hasn't gotten stupid paid yet. Chris Bryant is going through arbitration right now. Half of the NL All-Star team is going to combined make less money than him. If you take out a couple of guys, like I said, like Rizzo and Cespedes, half the team combined is going to make less money. So, LA Lakers, when we're watching the All-Star game this year, and you're seeing Jose Altuve, and you're seeing Hosmer, and you're seeing Mookie Betts, when you're seeing these guys out there, guys who are at the top of their game, you paid more for a guy who wears backwards jerseys in beer commercials. Shame on you. With no context. With no context as to why that's funny. Shame on you, LA.
Thank you, and this was Who Makes Less Than Timothy Mozgov?
You're
welcome.